Now, some of the Republicans, contrary to what Elon Musk said, are claiming ignorance. The court actions that have held Donald Trump accountable, that have stopped illegal things from happening or tried, cases like Kilmar Abrego Garcia, where the court is finding the president and the administration in contempt, the courts would lose much of their power to do it because people couldn't afford to bring these cases. Here's Elon Musk and what he's had to say about this bill. He calls it a pork-filled, massive, disgusting abomination. He said he could no longer hold his tongue on just how bad this bill was. And what's more, he goes on to say, and the Republicans who voted for it, they knew better, and essentially they should be ashamed of themselves. Now, some of the Republicans, contrary to what Elon Musk said, are claiming ignorance. Here's Michael Flood claiming that he didn't know a provision was in the bill that would make it harder to enforce court orders. Here's the town hall with Republican Representative Mike Flood. That provision that he's talking about there, or he's being asked about there, was a provision that essentially would try to stop judges' ability to hold the president or the administration in contempt when they violate court orders. Because what it would require is that someone suing to prevent the government from doing harm has to pay a big bond in case their temporary restraining order or permanent injunction is later reversed. What this means as a practical matter is that the court actions that have held Donald Trump accountable, that have stopped illegal things from happening or tried, cases like Kilmar Abrego Garcia, where the court is finding the president and the administration in contempt, the courts would lose much of their power to do it because people couldn't afford to bring these cases. So this is an effort to essentially neuter the judiciary branch, the one branch of government that has been willing to stand up to this lawless administration. That is also in this big, what I would call ugly bill. But there's some other pork provisions and terrible provisions in the bill. One of them is a provision on silencers. That's right, on silencers for guns. So if you're going to get a silencer, you want a silencer for your weapon, you have to pay a stamp fee. It's about $200. That fee was set like 90 years ago when it was a lot of money, and it then kept a lot of people from getting silencers. Now it's a pretty small fee to pay, but what's more, it prevents you from having to register to get a silencer. It's going to just proliferate the number of silencers. Now, what's the problem with this? It makes it so much easier to hide crimes because you can't tell where the shots came from. It's going to make it more lethal when mass shooters use these to hide where they are. It's going to take first responders longer to be able to identify the source of the gunfire. It's going to mean more people losing their lives. So this is that big, ugly bill. Tax cuts for really rich people, so if you're super wealthy, you're going to do just fine here. It includes massive cuts to healthcare, might result in that clinic down the street closing or that hospital closing, your friend, your neighbor losing their healthcare, maybe you lose your healthcare. Less food for hungry people, less sales of food by farmers to schools for school lunches, and it's going to explode our deficit and debt, make it harder to enforce court orders. It's going to have all of these consequences, this bill. If you're an average American, this is what the bill offers you.